Today, we start with Angela Yee. Millions woke up to the sound of her voice as the co-host of one of the most listened to radio shows in this country. Opposite her unapologetic, controversial co-host, she had years of landing big interviews, presidents, politicians, pop stars to hip-hop greats, and from time to time going viral for unforgettable moments. I'll do one. Drake? If you listen to the show, you know what I'm talking about. Well, after 12 years together and amassing a following of millions, it seemed to end with a tweet. This one: The Breakfast Club, as you know it, is officially over. Those 10 words sent the internet into a guessing game, and fans of Angela Yee were left waiting for Angela to answer why now and what's next.
I am going to be leaving the Breakfast Club.
Angela's announcement stunned listeners and had media outlets proclaiming her departure from the Breakfast Club was an end of an era.
Angela Yee is no longer going to be at the Breakfast Club. She has her own show starting.
Way Up with Angela Yee.
After 12 years alongside Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy and interviewing some of the biggest names over the decade, the award-winning host and Radio Hall of Fame inductee is making her own path.
Hey, Way Up with Angela Yee. Look at that, I got my own theme song.
Launched just 3 weeks ago, Way Up is a much different vibe,
We are shining a light on people doing positive things.
but still appeals to the same culture.
I want to ask y'all, just based off of the Grammys conversation, what is your favorite era of hip-hop?
She's also using her new platform for her other passion, educating listeners on building wealth with experts and tips she's learned as a successful real estate and restaurant entrepreneur.
We'll be back tomorrow on Way Up with Angela Yee. Thank y'all for joining us.
Joining us in a daytime exclusive, please welcome Angela Yee to the Tam Fam. There you have it. I mean, Hall of Fame radio host. And now you get a show with your name in the title. When you walked into that studio, by the way, this is Women's History Month. You made history with this show, the first iHeartMedia show, syndicated radio show, fronted by a Black woman.
Yes.
That's never happened before. Never happened before. So you walk in that studio 3 weeks ago, and it says Way Up with Angela Yee, just your name alone. How did that feel?
I mean, it was amazing. It was a long time coming. Yeah. It was something that, and I feel like it's important to put it out there when you really want something. And so I had been on the Breakfast Club for a while, and it's really been years that I've been like, I want my own show. And I was willing to do whatever I had to do. If that meant staying on the Breakfast Club and doing something at night or on the weekend, I was like, I would work 7 days a week because I thought, and I knew that if I started something on my own, that I would eventually be able to leave and then just
build it up.
Yeah.
So let me go back to that tweet. It was in December. I was on Twitter like everyone else, and all of a sudden it's trending. Angela Yee is leaving. Okay. So then people started to fill in the blanks.
Yes.
Some said, as Lizzo, it's about damn time. Others said, why?
Right.
People wondered. So tell me when you first told DJ Envy and Charlamagne that you were leaving.
Well, so we orchestrated that tweet. Earlier that day is when we
So they were in on it?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about it because my boss would have killed me if I would have just sent that out for no reason.
Well,
and
you're your boss, so you could have done it on your own.
Yeah, she's in charge of the stations, and she really did help make this happen.
Okay.
You know, help me get syndicated.
So was
everything.
this a breakup?
It was
like the Beatles? Because I don't know. Was it
you know
a
what,
breakup?
to be honest, she told them before. I asked her. She said, "Do you want me to tell them, or do you want to?" I said, "You tell them first, and then I'll come in and have the discussion once they know."
Why didn't you want to tell them first?
I thought it would be better for her to just let them digest it, and then I would come in and we would have a conversation about how to move forward. You know, my contract had been up since in December, and so I was already trying to figure out, am I staying here? Am I going somewhere else? And I just wanted to keep all my options open. I never want to feel like I'm stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I did have other options, but fortunately, they did come to the table with this amazing situation, which I did not anticipate. My agent called me. She was like, you know.
But I want to go back to this meeting.
Yes.
Okay. So you send her in to do recon work.
Yes.
Basically, that's what my dad was in the military. You send in the front line to tell the guys. What was your fear? Let's go to that. What was your worry? What did you worry might be their reaction that you didn't do it yourself?
It wasn't that I was worried. So I knew about this 6 months before.
They didn't.
They knew, right?
Oh, they do?
Yeah, no, I knew about it 6 months before they knew about it.
Okay.
And so it was something that was under wraps. And in the world of radio, and I'm sure in TV also, when something's about to happen, no one can know. Because
you thought Charlamagne was going to leak it?
No, probably. But they just want to keep everything so private because it does cause a shift, like who's in that time slot. And so I knew for so long.
She goes in first. Does she wave a white flag to say it's safe to come in because they're cool? What happened?
I think they were happy for me.
Yeah.
Because if your coworkers, and I feel like this in any job, people should want you to elevate and always, if it's a great work environment, you should never think that you'll be somewhere forever. And as an employer, you should never want your employee to feel like this is where you're going to be forever. If you have an assistant, whatever it is, you should want people to
That's why you're
on.
great. I got to go, though, to this you know what, I'll ask you about it because that will always be a part of your legacy. And one of the things I was always struck by was the fact that you were the lone woman. And whenever there was a controversy with Charlamagne or DJ Envy, there were people who held you accountable in their minds for their actions. There was the interview with Lil Mama, a rapper, Azalea Banks, an entertainer, and Monique that come to mind, where people felt that Charlamagne was being misogynistic in his tone and that you should have somehow wrangled him in. I firmly disagree with that because you're not there to police them. But people held you accountable for things that the guys, as they wrote in one article, did. How did that make you feel?
And I wasn't even there when they interviewed Azalea Banks. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I also feel like, you know, sometimes I would feel like I got it harder than he did for something that he said. And so I also want to make it clear that we're all three individuals. You say what you say, feel how you feel, and I do too. But it's hard because people affiliate you with the whole group. And that was part of why I really wanted to have my own show, because now what happens, I'm accountable for that. But when you have three people with three differing opinions or three different viewpoints and completely different personalities, we're all individuals, but sometimes it's hard for people to separate that.
I want to go back to the woman part of it because you did hit on something. Because you were the lone woman on this show with a lot of bravado, with a lot of edge, disruptive, and that's why millions of people love the show. It seemed to me that people were always riding you.
Yeah, and you know, I was the only woman who worked there too. I mean, when it came to producers, camera people, and it wasn't an easy room for me to be in.
I didn't know that.
So I feel like I did need more like backup, you know, because even things that I felt as a woman, it is, you know, if somebody can't understand your point of view because they're not coming from where you come from. And so that was hard for me too, to be the only woman there with nobody to be like, check somebody, you know, you shouldn't have said that like that. It's just me. And there were times I did do that behind the scenes because, you know, we should be able to do that. That's part of what it is. I'm not always gonna agree. But it's hard when nobody's like, you know what, she's right. Or let's all have a conversation about this. It's just kind of like you say what you say and then...
Did you find yourself fighting for respect from the co-hosts who I know respect you? But when you're the only woman in the room and, which blew me away just now, you're saying even in the production part of it.
Yeah.
You're there.
It was a lot. It was a lot.